Who believes their job is hard? Don't be afraid to show some hands. Who believes they have the hardest job in the world? Well, hold on to this thought just a little. As a reception coordinator, I was one of 3 UN volunteers assigned to admit asylum seekers and refugees to the office premises and respond to queries set forth by them. Every morning at 8 a.m., refugees and asylum seekers will have already lined up in queues that stretched as far as the eye can see in that tiny space allocated for them behind that big metal door. By queues, I mean 56,000 people by the end of 2015. Being a reception coordinator meant that I often took a lot of heat from tired, frustrated, and desperate refugees. The pressure was so overwhelming that on the 3rd day of my assignment, I decided that I wanted to quit. Because guess what? I believed that I had the hardest job in the world. But my job was not as hard as An'am, a single mother of 4 children whom I met at the reception. An'am's 4 children all needed cochlear implants, but could not get them because of expensive operations on the one hand, and the scarce resources at the disposal of the office on the other. Can you imagine how she felt every day, knowing that there's a potential cure for her children that she just can't lay her hands on? I mean, I'm not a mother myself, but I don't think I need to be one in order to understand her pain and despair. The idea was to bring you today a story that would instill hope, that would inspire you, and there are definitely many out there, but unfortunately, there are even more stories with unhappy endings. But don't lose hope just yet, for some stories are still waiting on an epilogue, and together we can ensure that it's a happy one. Volunteering at UNHCR has changed me in ways more profound than I can squeeze in the time I have left. But if I were to single out a few highlights, here is what I would like you to know. Before becoming a UN volunteer, I was a quitter. I ran away at the slightest contact with anything I perceived as difficult. However, 11 months into my assignment, I still showed up to the reception at 8 a.m. I chose to. I still ran up and down trying to get this request submitted by a refugee finalized. I still endured an asylum seeker taking his frustration out on me. I mean, I still cried in the bathroom sometimes, but I still kept envisioning ways to improve the reception areas for these refugees and asylum seekers. My volunteering experience has taught me to force myself to remember that this person standing before me did not choose to be where he is standing today, that I did not choose to be standing on the right side of the reception door. If there's anything that I am grateful for having taken away from this experience, it's this new perspective on life. For example, if you had asked me 3 or 4 years ago what I saw in the picture of a refugee or a migrant selling merchandise on the streets like it is abundant here in Europe, I would have probably said something like, oh, these are really nice shoes, or this is one ugly bag. But today, I can only stop to think how they made it this far, what forced them to leave, what conditions they had to endure, whether they were trafficked or not, and the myriad of other questions. Volunteerism has not only moved me, but it has also shaken me to the core. I have matured so much, both personally and professionally, in these past 2 years than I have in any other capacity I might have undertaken. I have matured so much that I can only imagine the regret I would be carrying had I decided to quit that day. Thank you.